I am a strong black woman. I have fallen down, I've gotten up when people didn't think I would. I've gone down again, I've come back up. I've been up and down a few times, but I've never stayed down. I've always come back up.
Jillian Curry Williams is passionate about sewing and designing. She's educated in fashion design, and she is a creative force to be reckoned with. To say she is talented is an understatement.
From high school, sewing was just, I don't know, I just always did drawings in my books. If I was to pull up all my old books from St. John's, I had drawings in them. I just felt like bio and chemistry and all that wasn't me. I just wanted to sew, and I didn't need that stuff to help me to do what I needed to do. And then if I go back, my father is really a tailor by trade. He's an accountant, but a tailor by trade. My mother's a nurse, but my mother knew how to sew and sewed for people. So I think it was her taking in work for people that made me even want to do it even more, because she would take in the work and I would try and cut. And then she'll come home and be like, you cut the people cloth? And yeah, but I cut it right, and everything fit okay. And so that, it was just a passion for me. And my parents back then didn't want me to sew because, they were like, money in that. And my dad was like, there's no money in that. You have to work hard. But it was still something I wanted to do. I never wanted to do anything else but sew. When I went to school, I knew how to do it. I just needed guidance in some other directions with it. So it was enhanced with that. And then with trial and practice and cutting out something and, fitting it right, and I would open up the lining and close and see how they did it inside. And then when I decided to go back to school, it was because I knew there was more stuff out there in between the years that I hadn't been, that I didn't know. So I needed to go back and get the training on what was new and the new ways they were doing stuff. So when I applied actually to the school where I went to in Toronto, I didn't even tell them that I had a degree already. I just wanted it to be as if I didn't know anything. So I acted as if I didn't know anything until the end when I had to write my bio. Then I made it known that I had a degree already.
Jillian Curry Williams' road to success did not come easy, as she gave up much to take on plenty.
There were lots of sacrifices. There were sacrifices with the kids because there wasn't a lot of time spent. I tried to spend as much time as possible. There were sacrifices with family time, with my parents and stuff, because I didn't get to spend. And I kept telling them, when I take in people work, I have to get it done. I have an obligation. I can't tell them, well, we have a function and, so there were a lot of sacrifices. And there are still a lot of sacrifices being made because I have rebranded. When I started, I was Simple Elegance. I went back to school and my teachers were like, the level of your work is just too high. You have to change that name. So I labored with it like probably a whole semester. And one day I actually cried in class because I was like, what does she want from me? I don't know what to name it. And then I thought of my Grammy, who's Remilda. My mother's middle name is Rose, and I came up with Remilda Rose. And she was like, keep saying it, keep saying it. Doesn't it roll? Doesn't it sound expensive? Doesn't it? And so I rebranded the whole company and came back from Toronto with Remilda Rose. So there were a lot of sacrifices that were made.
What has been one of your driving force throughout the years?
My driving force has been succeeding. I want Remilda Rose to be all over the world. I want people, when they hear, like how they hear Michael Kors, they know Michael Kors. I want them to hear, when they hear Remilda Rose, wow, she does good work. The quality is good. The designs are great. I want Remilda Rose to be known around the world. There were times I felt like giving in, and I think that was why the Lord, at the point when He allowed me to go away, because I was really about to give up. My creative juices were not flowing. I was basically dead creatively. And a friend of mine said, apply for a scholarship. And I was like, nobody can give me no scholarship. But I applied to Life with Key. I applied to the government. When I applied to Life with Key, I did it knowing that my son was away to college, had a Life with Key scholarship, and I was like, they're not going to give. But I got a letter from them saying I didn't get it. Then I got one saying I was an alternate. Then I got one saying I got it. And I was excited because I was like, okay, God, this is you, because I can only do this with you. I can't do this on my own because I have a son in school. So at that point, I was really about to give up. And then I was seeing other designers, and I was like, okay, God, now what's the deal? I've been so longer than them. And it was just a point of waiting for my time and my season. And after I came back from school, it was still a waiting process. And then I got the word, God said, it's time. It's time to do your show. It's time to come forth. Because people kept asking, well, how long have you been sewing? We've never heard of you. We've never seen your work. You've never, no, because I wasn't led by God to put anything on Facebook, to post anything or do anything. And then I was sewing for people who were not telling anybody because they didn't want anybody to know. They said they didn't want to share their secret, so they didn't want anybody to know that I was sewing for them. But I told them in time, there'll be nothing you could do. So it's now that time. But yeah, there was a point when I was just ready to, like, this isn't even worth it. But I knew deep down this is what I want to do. I just know it. I knew it, but I was at a point where it was like I could give it all up, just forget it.
How has that impacted your life?
It has made me a stronger person. It has made me know that I need to, and I always try to remind myself of it now, in all my ways acknowledge God, and He shall direct my path, no matter how long it may take. And when I look over the life of Jesus, He did what He did, but He didn't come forth until in His 30s. And I was like, that was 30-something years, and I had to wait 30-something years to come forth. So nothing happens before it's time. I know that, and I know people may say age, but Ronnie Butler says age is only nothing but a number, and truly age is nothing but a number, because I think I match up to anyone younger than me or whatever, because I have the experience, I have the talent, and mine isn't one that I sought out. Mine is one that was given to me. So I always tell people, you can say what you want to say about me. You can't take what God has given to me, because He's given it to me, and I just use it now to His honor and His glory. This is an organza fabric. It's a burnt out organza, that's what it's called, because you can see the design through it. And then I used the lemoire under it. But because this fabric is lightweight and the lemoire is a little heavier weight, I needed something to help keep this lightweight fabric out. So I put horsehair braid at the hem, and the horsehair braid would help it to stand out, stick out, and just make it fall properly. It's fully cleaned, the edges, and fully lined. So you can wear it on the wrong side as if you're wearing it on the right side. And we do that with all of our garments. We make sure, this one, I didn't think the lemoire fabric had enough weight, so I put organza in it. So I take the other step in doing stuff in the garments for the customer. Certain garments may not take certain things, but you have to know which one works for each garment that you're working with. I love Oscar De Laurentiis. I just love his stuff. I call myself the Oscar girl. So I open the garments and I see how he's finished it on the inside, or I read upon stuff. And I had the opportunity when I was in school to send to his company and get information about how they construct and what they do. And they were very receptive in giving me that information. So I learned a lot of stuff with how they do stuff and how they put a garment together. This is what I do first for the customer. I cut a muslin first. So this is a mock-up of the style. I fit it, I pin it in where it needs to go, and then I cut fabric.
That takes a lot of time, though.
It does, and people may say it's time consuming, but for me, it works because we could do a sketch. I could show you all kinds of stuff. I could explain to you until you see it on you. And then you may see it on you and be like, I don't really like this. And then we would have cut your fabric already. So to avoid that, we cut the muslin. So you can see how your neckline is going to be, where it's going to fall, how everything is going to fit. If the fabric that I'm going to work with is going to cut on the bias, I cut this on the bias. If I'm going to make a dress for you out of chiffon, I buy some cheap chiffon, so you get the actual feel and flow of what's going to happen in the actual garment that you make. And really, if you look at the designers, the designers, that is exactly what they do. That is how they do their garments. And they probably take you through 3 of these. I just need one.
Jillian Curry Williams says her designs inspire her to continue her work, and she remembers the first dress she sewed.
My first dress was a dress I did for my mother. I remember it. It was like a seafoam, almost a seafoam green, and it had pleats down the front, and it wore with a belt, and had these wide sleeves and this big cuff. And it was something that she could have actually still worn now. But that was my first real garment I made, and I was really proud of that. I like to make a woman feel good. And it's nothing when you get that call back to say, girl, I was the bomb. Girl, I look so good. Girl, everybody's looking at me. Everybody's telling me how nice I look. Nothing tops that. And that's what I thrive for with my customers. Like our branding now is embracing, embellishing, empowering the beauty in every woman. And that's what we try to do. We take you in, we embellish you with the garments, and we empower you to feel good, look good, hold your shoulder up, hold that chest up, and just know I look good. You know, no matter if anybody tells me I look good or not, I know I look good. And that's what we try to do here.
And where did you get that from?
The branding, that was another laboring thing I had to do in school. I had to come up with that in school, and I don't know. It just came to me. It just came to me. I had a teacher that worked really hard with me because she was really impressed with my stuff, and she really like pounded me to, you got to get it, you got to get it, you got to do it right. So.
Looking back over your life, are there any regrets, things that you would have done and to do it differently now?
I often think about that, and I always tell people I have no regrets, for the good and the bad. I have no regrets because they've all in some way shaped me and helped me to be the person that I am today. I know back then, way back then, when I'll never forget, I had a customer, Miss Hannah, when she first met me, she was like, you look so stern and you look like you don't smile and you look, but when you get to know you, you see you're a nice person and your personality and da-da. But I have no regrets in my life. I really, really have no regrets. Every step that I've taken, every step that I may have gone in the wrong, done the wrong thing or made the wrong turn or sewed something I shouldn't have done, I have no regrets because it's made me who I am today.
And that passion has led her to become involved in community work for the Cancer Society.
Because my father now has cancer, and I had two aunts, one died, one is living from cancer, and then I had an uncle that died, and my husband's mother also succumbed to cancer. I worked along with a company in the UK, and I made a print that incorporates some of the colors associated with cancer. The print is important because cancer is like an evil thing to me. But the print is beauty, it's hope, it's brightness, it's fight. And it's like we don't have to give up. We don't have to give up. Cancer isn't the end. We can fight. And that's what I did the print for. The print is going to be used in the majority of the garments for the show. I am also using, some of my models are either going through chemo and radiation or have been through cancer and are cancer free. And we're doing a special thing for them. They are getting ball gowns made and makeup done and hair done and everything for the show, and they're so excited. So I'm looking forward to that. That's the next thing on top for Remilda Rose Design.